This might be the most recognized piece of clothing in martial arts history, but it almost never existed. A simple yellow jumpsuit with black stripes down the sides. So iconic that even people who've never seen a Bruce Lee film instantly recognize it. So powerful that nearly 50 years after it first appeared on screen, it continues to inspire filmmakers, fashion designers, and fighters worldwide. But why? What is it about this particular costume that has burned itself into our collective consciousness? And more importantly, why did Bruce Lee choose to wear it in the first place? The story behind this yellow jumpsuit reveals more about Bruce Lee as philosophy and final artistic statement than most people realize. What seems like a simple costume choice was actually a revolutionary statement, one that would become Bruce Lee's final and perhaps most enduring visual legacy. In 1973, Bruce Lee was at the height of his powers. After the explosive success of Enter the Dragon, he had become the most famous martial artist in the world. But Lee was working on something even more ambitious, a film called Game of Death that would showcase not just his physical abilities, but his entire philosophy of martial arts. Then tragedy struck. Lee died suddenly at the age of 32, leaving Game of Death unfinished. Only about 20 minutes of his original footage was ever completed, and almost all of it featured Bruce wearing this now legendary yellow jumpsuit. What most people don't realize is that Lee personally designed this outfit. It wasn't just a random costume choice made by the wardrobe department. Every element from the color to the cut to those distinctive black stripes was carefully selected to communicate something specific. At a time when martial artists were expected to wear traditional uniforms, Bruce chose something completely different, something modern, something that would break all the rules. But why yellow? Why this motorcycle-inspired design? And what message was Bruce trying to send with this radical departure from tradition? The answers reveal a side of Bruce Lee that few people understand, a man who was as much philosopher as fighter, as much revolutionary as entertainer. In the decades since his death, this yellow jumpsuit has become much more than just a movie costume. It's a symbol that has appeared everywhere from video games to high-fashion runways. It's been referenced, parodied, and honored in ways that would have been impossible to predict. This is the truth about the jumpsuit, the story of why Bruce Lee actually wore it in Game of Death, and how it became so much more than even he could have imagined. To understand the significance of Bruce Lee's yellow jumpsuit, we need to first understand the ambitious vision behind Game of Death. This wasn't just another martial arts film, it was meant to be Lee's masterpiece, his most personal artistic statement. Bruce began shooting Game of Death in 1972, between the completion of Way of the Dragon and Enter the Dragon. His concept was revolutionary, a film structured around a hero who must battle his way up a 5-level pagoda, facing different martial arts masters on each floor, each representing a different fighting style. Bruce wanted to create something that would demonstrate his philosophy that no single style of fighting was superior, recalled Raymond Chow, the legendary film producer who worked closely with Lee. Each level of the pagoda represented a different challenge, a different philosophy that the hero needed to overcome. The yellow jumpsuit was reserved exclusively for these pagoda scenes, the heart of Lee's original vision. The outfit first appears when Lee's character prepares to enter the pagoda, signaling a transition from the ordinary world to this gauntlet of martial arts challenges. But fate had other plans. In the summer of 1973, with only about 40 minutes of footage completed, most of it the pagoda sequence featuring the yellow jumpsuit, Bruce Lee died suddenly at the age of 32. The film industry was devastated. Hollywood had just begun to recognize Lee's star power, and now their brightest new talent was gone. But the footage of Lee in that yellow jumpsuit remained powerful, kinetic, showcasing some of his most impressive fight choreography ever captured on film. For 5 years, the footage sat unused. Then, in 1978, director Robert Klaus was brought in to complete Game of Death using a stand-in, doubled with existing footage of Lee, and an entirely reworked plot that bore little resemblance to Lee's original concept. The result was controversial. The finished film used only about 11 minutes of Lee's original footage, almost all of it from the pagoda scenes featuring the yellow jumpsuit. In these sequences, Lee battles basketball star Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in what would become one of the most famous fight scenes in martial arts cinema. Dan Inosanto, one of Bruce's closest students who also appears in the film, later revealed, "Bruce was very particular about that jumpsuit. He wanted something that would show the body's movements clearly on camera, but also something symbolic. The yellow wasn't just for visibility, it had meaning to him. What makes this story even more remarkable is that the most iconic footage of Bruce Lee, the material that would cement his visual legacy, was never meant to be his final appearance on screen. Game of Death was supposed to be just another step in Lee's evolving career, not his last testament. The irony is powerful. An unfinished film featuring an unconventional costume choice would end up defining Bruce Lee's image for generations to come. The incompleteness of Game of Death created a mythology around those yellow jumpsuit scenes that continues to grow with each passing decade. Renowned action director John Woo once noted that yellow jumpsuit became special precisely because we got so little of it. Those few minutes of footage are like precious gems, brief glimpses of what might have been if Bruce had lived to complete his vision. While Lee only wore the jumpsuit for a few days of filming, those scenes have been studied, analyzed, and revered by martial artists and filmmakers for 5 decades. They represent Bruce Lee at the absolute peak of his physical abilities, freed from the period costumes and settings of his earlier films. The jumpsuit scenes feel timeless, almost futuristic, even today. Unlike his period pieces set in historical China or contemporary stories of the 1970s, the pagoda sequence exists in its own universe, one, where martial arts transcend time and place, focused purely on the philosophy of combat. But the question remains, of all possible designs, why did Bruce Lee choose this particular outfit? What inspired him to break so dramatically from martial arts tradition and create something entirely new? The design of Bruce Lee's yellow jumpsuit wasn't just a random wardrobe choice. It was a deliberate decision that combined practicality, symbolism, and Lee's own vision for modernizing martial arts. According to Andre Morgan, a producer at Golden Harvest Studio who worked directly with Lee on Game of Death, the initial choice was surprisingly practical. The truth of the matter is far more simple, though, as is usually the case with these things, Morgan revealed in a 2015 interview. When filming began, Lee was actually presented with 2 options, a yellow tracksuit or a black one. The deciding factor? A key scene in the script called for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's character to kick Lee in the chest, leaving a visible footprint to demonstrate the impact's power. The crew quickly realized that on a black suit, this crucial detail would be nearly impossible for audiences to see. The yellow jumpsuit was chosen for its visibility on camera, a simple but effective solution to a filmmaking challenge. It was a wardrobe decision, Morgan explained. Simple as that. But as with many aspects of Bruce Lee's career, what began as a practical choice evolved into something with much deeper significance. The jumpsuit's design broke sharply from traditional martial arts uniforms, reflecting Lee's philosophy about breaking free from rigid traditions. Linda Lee Cadwell, Bruce's widow, later noted, Bruce was always looking to express himself in new ways. He didn't want to be bound by tradition for tradition's sake. The jumpsuit represented freedom of movement, both physically and philosophically. The suit's design drew inspiration from multiple sources. Some film historians point to the racing jumpsuits of the era, which were becoming popular in motorsports. Others note similarities to the tracksuits worn by athletes in the 1972 Olympics, which had captured global attention just before filming began. What's particularly fascinating is how the jumpsuit embodied Lee's own martial philosophy. Just as his fighting style, Jeet Kune rejected the limitations of traditional martial arts in favor of practical effectiveness. His costume choice rejected traditional uniforms in favor of something modern, functional, and visually striking. The color yellow itself carries significant meaning in Chinese culture, historically associated with emperors and representing power, prosperity, and heroism. In Western color psychology, yellow symbolizes energy, intellect, and optimism, all qualities that align perfectly with Lee's character in the film. The black stripes running down the sides weren't just decorative either. They created a visual line that emphasized Lee's movements, making his kicks and strikes more visually dynamic on screen. Every element served both an aesthetic and practical purpose. The original jumpsuit has become a treasured artifact of cinema history. In 2013, it was auctioned for an astounding $100,500 to an anonymous bidder. Only 2 such jumpsuits were used during the actual filming of Game of Death, making the surviving costume extraordinarily rare. What's remarkable is how this single costume choice has transcended the film itself. When Quentin Tarantino dressed Uma Thurman in a nearly identical yellow jumpsuit for Kill Bill 30 years later, he wasn't just making a casual reference, he was acknowledging the powerful visual legacy Lee had created. The jumpsuit has appeared in countless video games, from Tekken's martial law character to references in Grand Theft Auto. It's been recreated for Halloween costumes, cosplay events, and martial arts demonstrations worldwide. Few movie costumes have achieved such instant recognition across generations and cultures. Shannon Lee, Bruce's daughter, once reflected, that yellow jumpsuit has become almost like a superhero costume. When people see it, they immediately think of my father and everything he stood for: strength, philosophy, breaking barriers. It's amazing how a simple costume choice has become such a powerful symbol. What began as a practical decision to ensure a footprint would be visible on camera has evolved into one of cinema. As most enduring images, a testament to how Bruce Lee's influence extends far beyond his martial arts skills into the realm of visual iconography that continues to inspire new generations. Beyond its practical origins, the yellow jumpsuit took on a life of its own, becoming a powerful symbol that transcended the film itself. What is fascinating is how this single costume choice created ripple effects throughout popular culture. that continue to this day. The jumpsuit's cultural impact was magnified by the tragic circumstances of Bruce Lee's death. When Game of Death was finally released in 1978, 5 years after Lee's passing, audiences were seeing their martial arts hero in what they knew would be his final appearance on screen. The yellow jumpsuit became not just a costume, but a visual embodiment of Lee's legacy, his last gift to fans worldwide. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who fought Lee in the film's most famous sequence, later reflected, "When I see that yellow jumpsuit now, it's bittersweet. Those scenes represent some of Bruce's best work, but they also remind me that we lost him far too soon. There was so much more he wanted to do." The jumpsuit quickly became shorthand for martial arts excellence. In dojos and training halls across America, yellow became a popular color for uniforms and training gear, a direct homage to Lee's final film appearance. What had begun as a practical costume choice was now influencing how martial artists around the world presented themselves. By the 1980s, the jumpsuit had become a staple of pop culture references. The 1985 film, The Last Dragon, featured a protagonist named Bruce Leroy Green, who idolized Lee and eventually donned a similar yellow outfit. This wasn't just a casual reference, it was a recognition that the jumpsuit had become a symbol of martial arts mastery. In New York City during this period, the influence was particularly strong in African American communities, where Bruce Lee was embraced as a hero who fought against oppression and discrimination. Young men would wear yellow tracksuits with black stripes as a fashion statement that connected them to Lee's philosophy of self-determination and personal power. The jumpsuit's influence extended far beyond cinema. In the music world, hip-hop artists frequently referenced Lee and his iconic outfit. The Wu-Tang Clan, one of hip-hop's most influential groups, built their entire aesthetic around martial arts films, with numerous references to Lee and his yellow jumpsuit appearing in their lyrics and imagery. Even in the world of sports, the jumpsuit left its mark. NBA superstar Kobe Bryant, a self-proclaimed Bruce Lee fanatic, released a line of sneakers inspired by the yellow and black color scheme of the Game of Death costume. The shoes featured tiger claw scratch marks, another nod to Lee's final film. What's particularly remarkable is how the jumpsuit has maintained its cultural relevance across generations. In 2003, nearly 30 years after Lee's death, Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill featured Uma Thurman in an almost identical yellow jumpsuit, a deliberate homage that introduced Lee's iconic look to a new generation of viewers. The jumpsuit has appeared in everything from SpongeBob SquarePants episodes to mobile phone commercials. It's been referenced in video games, turned into action figures, and recreated by cosplayers at conventions worldwide. Few movie costumes have achieved such universal recognition. In 2013, the original jumpsuit worn by Lee during filming was auctioned for over $100,000, a testament to its status as one of cinema's most treasured artifacts. Museums around the world have featured exhibitions centered around this single costume piece. Linda Lee Cadwell, Bruce's widow, once noted the irony of the jumpsuit's legacy. Bruce designed that costume to break free from tradition, to show that martial arts didn't need to be bound by the past. Now that same jumpsuit has become a tradition itself, something new generations pay homage to. Perhaps most significantly, the yellow jumpsuit has become a symbol that transcends martial arts and even cinema itself. It represents breaking barriers, challenging conventions, and expressing oneself without limitation, all core principles of Bruce Lee's personal philosophy. Shannon Lee, Bruce's daughter, who now manages his legacy, put it best. That yellow jumpsuit represents my father's spirit, bold, unmistakable, and impossible to ignore. It's become a universal symbol of standing out, of being unapologetically yourself. That is why it continues to resonate with people who may never have seen my father's films, but still recognize what that image represents. The cultural impact of Bruce Lee's yellow jumpsuit extends far beyond the film itself, becoming one of the most recognizable symbols in martial arts history. What began as a simple wardrobe decision has evolved into a powerful visual icon that continues to influence popular culture decades after Lee's death. According to Andre Morgan, a producer at Golden Harvest Studio who worked directly with Lee on Game of Death, the choice of the yellow jumpsuit was surprisingly practical. The truth of the matter is far more simple, Morgan revealed in a 2015 interview. When filming began, Lee was presented with two options, a yellow tracksuit or a black one. The deciding factor was a scene in the script where Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's character kicks Lee in the chest, leaving a visible footprint. On a black suit, this crucial detail would be nearly impossible for audiences to see. It was a wardrobe decision, Morgan explained. Simple as that. Yet this practical choice took on profound meaning after Lee's untimely death. Linda Lee Caldwell, Bruce's widow, later explained that the jumpsuit perfectly captured his martial arts philosophy. You need not be dressed in a traditional uniform to be an effective fighter, she noted. By wearing an outfit unaffiliated with any specific martial arts school, Lee was making a statement about breaking free from tradition and embracing adaptability, core principles of his Jeet Kune philosophy. The jumpsuit's impact on popular culture has been extraordinary. Perhaps the most famous homage came from Quentin Tarantino, who dressed Uma Thurman in an almost identical yellow jumpsuit for Kill Bill. This wasn't merely a casual reference. It was a deliberate acknowledgement of Lee's enduring influence. Tarantino himself has spoken about how the yellow jumpsuit immediately communicates martial arts mastery without requiring a single word of dialogue. The jumpsuit has appeared in countless video games as well. The character Martial Law in the Tekken series wears a yellow outfit clearly inspired by Lee's iconic look. The Grand Theft Auto series included references to the jumpsuit in its 9th installment. These gaming tributes introduced Lee's visual legacy to generations of players who might never have seen Game of Death. Fashion designers have drawn inspiration from the jumpsuit's distinctive style, incorporating elements into their collections. The black stripe running down the sides has become a recognizable design element that immediately evokes Bruce Lee's legacy. Sports brands have created yellow tracksuits inspired by the iconic look, further cementing its place in popular culture. What makes the jumpsuit's cultural impact so remarkable is how it transcended its origins to become a symbol of breaking barriers. As one of the first Asian actors to achieve global superstardom, Lee faced numerous obstacles in Hollywood. The yellow jumpsuit, with its departure from traditional martial arts uniforms, symbolized Lee's willingness to forge his own path rather than conform to expectations. Shannon Lee, Bruce's daughter, has spoken about this aspect of her father's legacy. The jumpsuit represents my father's philosophy of expressing yourself honestly and breaking free from classical traditions. It wasn't just a costume, it was a statement about being true to yourself rather than blindly following established patterns. The jumpsuit has even found its way into serious artistic explorations of Lee's legacy. In a series of posters created for the documentary Be Water, designer Helio Tellez used the iconic Game of Death jumpsuit image to create a sense of tension by contrasting opposing ideas visually, culturally, and intellectually. The contrast between Bruce Lee, the icon, and Bruce Lee, the person. Museums around the world have displayed the original jumpsuit as a cultural artifact of immense significance. What began as a practical solution to a filming challenge has become one of the most recognized symbols in martial arts history. Visual icon that immediately communicates skill, philosophy, and the breaking of boundaries to audiences worldwide. The yellow jumpsuit's journey from simple costume to cultural phenomenon illustrates something profound about Bruce Lee's legacy. Even in death, his influence continues to grow, inspiring new generations through the power of a single, unforgettable image. The behind-the-scenes story of the yellow jumpsuit is as fascinating as its cultural impact. What many people don't realize is just how challenging it was to film those iconic scenes and how the production team worked to ensure the jumpsuit would look perfect on camera. According to those who were on set during the filming of Game of Death, Bruce Lee was meticulous about how the jumpsuit fit and moved. Multiple versions were created to accommodate different fight sequences. The jumpsuit needed to be tight enough to show Lee's physique and movements clearly, but flexible enough to allow for his explosive kicks and strikes. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who fought Lee in one of the most memorable sequences, later recalled, "Bruce wanted everything to look authentic. He insisted that when I kicked him in the chest, it had to leave a visible mark on the yellow fabric. That's part of why the color was so important. It showed the impact of the fights in a way that a darker color wouldn't. The filming of the jumpsuit scenes was particularly intense. Lee would often spend hours perfecting a single sequence, demanding take after take until every movement was precisely as he envisioned. The bright yellow fabric would show sweat easily, requiring costume changes between takes to maintain a consistent appearance on film. What makes the jumpsuit even more significant is that it represents some of the last footage ever captured of Bruce Lee in action. When production on Game of Death was halted after Lee's death in 1973, only about 40 minutes of footage had been completed, most of it the pagoda sequence featuring the yellow jumpsuit. These precious scenes became a final testament to Lee's unparalleled skill and screen presence. The completion of Game of Death in 1978 remains one of the most controversial projects in film history. With only limited footage of Lee available, the producers used body doubles, cardboard cutouts, and even footage from Lee's funeral to cobble together a finished film that bore little resemblance to his original vision. One particularly infamous scene shows a mirror with a photograph of Bruce Lee's face pasted onto it, positioned to line up with a stand-in actor. As one film historian noted, it was a desperate attempt to complete the film, but these crude techniques only highlighted how irreplaceable Lee truly was. Despite these production challenges, the yellow jumpsuit scenes stand out as authentic and powerful moments in an otherwise compromised film. They capture Lee at the absolute peak of his abilities, showcasing the speed, power, and charisma that made him a global icon. The original jumpsuit has become a treasured artifact of cinema history, Carefully preserved and occasionally displayed in museums, it represents a tangible connection to Lee's legacy. What's particularly remarkable is how the jumpsuit has been reinterpreted and honored by subsequent generations. When Quentin Tarantino was planning Kill Bill, he specifically referenced the yellow jumpsuit as a visual shorthand for martial arts mastery. As Tarantino explained, everyone knows what that yellow suit means. It immediately tells the audience everything they need to know about the character's skill level without a single word of dialogue. The jumpsuit has appeared in countless video games, from martial law in the Tekken series to references in Grand Theft Auto. It's been recreated for Halloween costumes, cosplay events, and martial arts demonstrations worldwide. Few movie costumes have achieved such instant recognition across generations and cultures. Designer Helio Tellez, who created posters for the Bruce Lee documentary Be Water, specifically used the iconic Game of Death jumpsuit image to create a sense of tension by contrasting opposing ideas visually, culturally, and intellectually. The contrast between Bruce Lee, the icon, and Bruce Lee, the person. This cultural crossover extended the jumpsuit's influence to new generations who might never have seen Game of Death. Suddenly, a costume from an unfinished 1970s martial arts film was being reintroduced to global audiences through major Hollywood productions, video games, and fashion. The jumpsuit's enduring power lies in its simplicity. The clean lines, bold color, and distinctive black stripes create an immediately recognizable silhouette that has become synonymous with martial arts excellence. It's a visual icon that transcends language barriers, instantly communicating skill, philosophy, and the breaking of boundaries to audiences worldwide. As we conclude our exploration of Bruce Lee's yellow jumpsuit, we must consider its enduring legacy, how a simple costume choice became one of the most recognizable symbols in martial arts history and continues to influence popular culture nearly 5 decades later. The yellow jumpsuit represents something far greater than just a movie costume. It has become a visual shorthand for martial arts excellence, a symbol of breaking barriers, and a testament to Bruce Lee's enduring influence on global culture. Shannon Lee, Bruce's daughter and keeper of his legacy, has often spoken about the deeper meaning behind the jumpsuit. That yellow tracksuit represents my father's philosophy of self-expression. It wasn't bound by tradition or expectation. It was bold, distinctive, and entirely his own, just like his approach to martial arts and life. What makes the jumpsuit's legacy so remarkable is how it transcended the film itself. Game of Death was left unfinished at the time of Lee's death, with only about 40 minutes of footage completed. The version eventually released in 1978 used just 11 minutes of Lee's original material, almost all of it featuring the yellow jumpsuit. Yet despite the film's troubled production history, that brief footage created an indelible image that continues to resonate with audiences worldwide. The jumpsuit has become a cultural touchstone that bridges generations. Young people who have never seen a Bruce Lee film instantly recognize the yellow outfit with black stripes. It appears in fashion collections, street art, and merchandise around the world. The simple, bold design communicates martial arts mastery without requiring any explanation or context. Film historian and critic David Thompson once noted, "The yellow jumpsuit scenes in Game of Death represent Bruce Lee at his absolute peak, not just physically, but as a screen presence." There's something almost mythological about those sequences. They capture a perfect moment in time, preserved forever on film. The jumpsuit's influence on fashion cannot be overstated. From high-end designers to streetwear brands, countless collections have drawn inspiration from its distinctive color scheme and design elements. The black stripe running down the sides has become a recognizable motif that immediately evokes Bruce Lee's legacy. Perhaps most significantly, the jumpsuit has become a symbol of breaking barriers and forging new paths. As one of the first Asian actors to achieve global superstardom, Lee faced numerous obstacles in Hollywood. His costume choice and game of death rejecting traditional martial arts, uniforms in favor of something modern and distinctive, reflected his willingness to challenge conventions and create something entirely new. This aspect of the jumpsuit's symbolism continues to inspire people across disciplines. Athletes, artists, and innovators have all cited Lee's willingness to break from tradition as an influence on their own work. The yellow jumpsuit has become a visual reminder that sometimes the most powerful statements come from rejecting established norms. The jumpsuit's legacy also lives on through the countless homages in film and television. Beyond Tarantino's famous reference in Kill Bill, elements of the design have appeared in everything from The Matrix to various anime series. Each reference not only pays tribute to Lee's influence, but introduces his visual legacy to new audiences. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who fought Lee in that iconic yellow jumpsuit, later reflected on its significance. When I see that yellow suit now, I don't just remember filming those scenes. I remember Bruce's philosophy about martial arts and life, that you should express yourself honestly and not be bound by rigid forms or traditions. That jumpsuit wasn't just a costume. It was an extension of his beliefs. What began as a practical wardrobe decision has evolved into one of cinema's most enduring images, a testament to how Bruce Lee's influence extends far beyond his martial arts skills into the realm of visual iconography that continues to inspire new generations. The yellow jumpsuit reminds us that sometimes our most powerful statements come through the simplest choices. It stands as a symbol of breaking barriers, challenging traditions, and forging new paths, values that Bruce Lee embodied throughout his life and career. As we look to the future, the yellow jumpsuit's legacy shows no signs of fading. Each new generation discovers Bruce Lee's work and finds inspiration in his philosophy, his skill, and yes, that iconic yellow jumpsuit that has become synonymous with martial arts excellence. In the end, perhaps that's the most remarkable aspect of this story, how a simple costume choice for an unfinished film became one of the most recognized images in cinema history. The yellow jumpsuit transcended its origins to become something far greater, a symbol of breaking barriers, challenging traditions, and expressing oneself honestly and powerfully. That is the true legacy of Bruce Lee's yellow jumpsuit. Not just what it was, but what it continues to represent for millions of people around the world.